Hello, I'm James Bazan, Member of Parliament for Selkirk-Interlake. I want to take some time on Shaw Cable today and talk about a couple of things that I feel are important to share with the constituents of Selkirk-Interlake. The first one I want to talk about is the budget and that we just introduced this week. And of course, also want to talk about my private member's bill, which has already received a little bit of media attention and one that I'll be tabling this week. The budget has been tabled, of course, by Minister Flaherty, and I've had the opportunity to already speak to the benefits of the budget in the House of Commons. Now, Budget 2010 is titled Leading the Way on Jobs and Growth. It's a fiscally responsible budget that continues to invest in Canada to stimulate the economy for its second year of the Economic Action Plan, to build up our communities, especially those that are facing challenges because of the global recession. But more importantly, it continues to support the services that Canadians expect from both their federal and provincial governments, that we will continue to see investments through equalization, increases in healthcare transfers, and increases in social transfers to the provinces. I think the one issue that is more important to a lot of constituents that I heard from while I was doing our roundtables and community discussions that we held throughout January and February is also the need to return back to balanced budgets. And this budget will set us on the course to reducing overall stimulus dollars as they roll down over the next 12 months. And more importantly, that we will see a return to balanced budgets within the next few years. The important thing that we need to concentrate on is that our plan and our approach to the economy has been working. There's been more than 135,000 new jobs that have been created since July. There are 16,000 infrastructure projects that are laying the foundation for long-term economic growth, investments in everything from new sewer and water systems that help our standard of living, roads that increase our competitiveness and productivity as a nation, investments in recreational infrastructure, again, which helps our health and well-being, and allowing us as Canadians to continue to have fun in our communities. But the economic recovery remains fragile, so we have to be diligent. And so there will be another $19 billion in economic stimulus in this budget as we go into year two. Now, this will continue to provide dollars for the Building Canada Fund for rural and municipal infrastructure, and we've seen that benefit right across Selkirk-Interlake. And we'll continue to see those investments through the federal government, partnered with the province of Manitoba and, of course, our municipalities. One of the good news stories out of this budget is the announcement that our community futures organizations like West Interlake, East Interlake, and North Red will receive $11 million per year between the 16 community futures organizations that are funded through the Western Economic Diversification Office. Those dollars will definitely help our local businesses and municipalities plan for better times as we come out of the recession, and more importantly, help put our businesses on a level playing field with those that are in urban centers that receive similar types of support. Now, the province of Manitoba will really benefit from this budget. As I said earlier, we're continuing to invest in healthcare, in equalization, and social transfers to the province. Since coming to office, the budget of Manitoba has been increased by almost $1 billion. This year alone, $3.8 billion will be going from the federal government to the province. And we know that those dollars will help with everything to ensure that our healthcare system remains strong, that the province of Manitoba can offer the same services as we've been able to benefit from in Manitoba compared to every other place in Canada. Equalization this year in Manitoba will be $1 billion. That's an increase of $225 million, or 14% since 2005-2006. We see that the Canadian healthcare transfer increasing is now increased another $50 million for a total of $953 million. And the Canada social transfer to the province of Manitoba is $405 million. So these are really good news stories for the province of Manitoba. We also see the Community Development Trust and the Police Officers Recruitment Fund pour more dollars into Manitoba to help to ensure that we are safe and we do have protection officers in place. And the labor market training will continue to benefit the entire area and the province. And we know that the labor market and the work share program has been very beneficial to Selkirk Interlake. There's of course a lot of new tax breaks in here for individuals and our small businesses across the riding, and we know that that encourages job and growth and future economic development. The second thing I wanted to touch on is to talk about my private members bill, which will target tanning beds and tanning salons to increase the warning labels that are in place. As many of you know, my wife is a survivor of melanoma skin cancer from 2 different tumors that she's had over the last several years, and we've had ongoing health concerns since the original tumor presented itself several years ago. The one thing that I've been working at is looking at how we as a federal government can help with consumer awareness so that people know the risk factors there are in tanning and especially in artificial tanning. And so I've decided to move ahead with the private members bill to increase the size of warning labels so people can see them very easily and understand the risks that they're taking. Now, just this past summer in July in 2009, the International Agency for Research on Cancer, or IARC as they're called, which is an agency of the World Health Organization, elevated tanning devices to their highest cancer risk category, and they've called tanning beds carcinogenic to humans. So that means that people, especially those under 30, have a 75% increased risk in getting skin cancer from using artificial tanning. In particular, those under the age of 18 are at the highest risk. They're saying that 75% of people that use tanning beds before they're 30 years old have an elevated risk of getting skin cancer. Now, we know we need strong labeling. The Canadian Cancer Society in 2007 did a survey of tanning salons across the Toronto region, and they found that 87% of tanning salons did not have adequate labeling. And the labeling that we have today is of course outdated because of the decision made last summer by the World Health Organization. So we're going to go with larger radiation bills or labels that we put in very predominant places on the machine itself, as well as in the tanning salon. So as you enter your tanning room, you'll be able to see this and read it and understand that there is an elevated risk by using a tanning bed. We're also going with a smaller label to put on the bumper of the tanning bed so that as you crawl into the tanning bed, that you're well aware of the risk factor that you're going to take. Because often when you enter a tanning salon, the tanning bed is open, so you aren't going to see the label that's sitting on top. And we want to make sure that as you enter that tanning bed, that you've received all the information that you need to make an informed decision as a consumer. Now, we believe that this initiative is consistent with a number of other countries and around the world. We're seeing the U.S. Drug Administration work at doing something similar. I know that currently in the British House of Commons that they are having a debate on actually doing a prohibition on the use of tanning beds by people under the age of 18. And we already know that New Brunswick has done a trial on having a prohibition on youth from using tanning beds, as well as Scotland, France, Germany, and already some of the provinces in Australia have also put in similar bans. Now, in 2009, it's expected that over 5,000 Canadians were diagnosed with just melanoma skin cancer. There's another 75,000 that were diagnosed with other forms of skin cancer. And those have resulted in over 1,000 deaths. So I'm glad to have the support of the Canadian Cancer Society, the Canadian Dermatology Association, the Canadian Medical Association, the Save Your Skin Foundation, in making sure that we address this disease, and we have to protect the biggest organ our bodies have, which is our skin. Well, that's all the time I have today, but thanks for watching, and feel free to contact my office for any other information on our budget, our throne speech, or any of the work that I'm doing with private members' business. Thank you and have a great day.